Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the webinar on creative multimedia facades with Traxon EQ. Have you ever stood beneath a towering skyscraper, its facade dancing with dynamic graphics, and found yourself lost in wonder? Many of us have pondered, how do they achieve such brilliance? The answer illuminates through the intelligent lighting systems. And in this domain, Traxon EQ reigns supreme. With a global footprint of iconic projects, they have woven dreams into radiant realities. But what truly powers Traxon EQ's luminance isn't just the spectrum of lights, it's their unwavering commitment to performance driven innovation and a team that's fueled by passion. Their multimedia facades aren't just structures of concrete, they breathe life, narrate stories, and symbolize pride. From displaying captivating graphics to echoing messages of significance, or even showcasing national pride, these facades are not just a sight to behold, but are revolutionizing the realm of advertising and ensuring futuristic designs that stand the test of time. So, what can you expect from today's enlightening session? A deep dive into the art and intricacy of crafting multimedia facades, exploration of iconic projects, the tales of their challenges and triumphs, and a glimpse into the horizon of dynamic lighting's future. Our journey today will comprise three insightful short presentations focusing on LED technology, its integration, and media content design. Post these illuminating talks, there will be discussions, and at any time, feel free to post your questions in the comments section so our speakers can enlighten you with their wealth of experience on the topic. Now, to pave our path to discovery, I'm delighted to introduce our trio of expert panelists. Firstly, Carlito Pedotera, as the project director of Traxon EQ for the Middle East and Africa region. Carlito oversees projects across the Middle East Africa regions and has been a beacon of innovation since 2010. With an impressive academic background from the Technological University of Philippines, Carlito has sculpted luminous marvels with ADNOC Capital Gate and the Mubadala Tower being closest to his heart. Carlito, I welcome you to the stage.
Hi, thank you, Deshaun.
Next, we have Filippo Cima, the driving force behind iDEA&Associates. Under his leadership, they've redefined the multimedia facade industry, setting new standards and curating cutting edge technology products. With iconic structures like Burj Khalifa and ADNOC headquarters under their belt, Filippo's expertise is unmatched. Filippo, the spotlight awaits you.
Hi everyone. Thank you, Dishan.
And lastly, Florian Licht, the visionary founder of Lichtundsoehne. From the bustling streets of Berlin, Florian has collaborated on a global scale, turning architectural wonders into luminous canvases. His projects span across continents, with the Kingdom Center Tower in Riyadh being a testament to his genius. Florian, please take the stage.
Hello, everyone. Thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, now as we embark on this illuminating journey, it's my honor to hand over the stage to someone who stands at the forefront of this radiant revolution. Carlito, the stage is yours.
Wow. Thank you very much, Deshaun, for that very wonderful introduction. And hello again, everyone. Uh, First of all, thank you for spending your time with us today. We really appreciate it. This is our first live webinar together with Filippo as well as Florian. And we're very excited to be able to share with you the important aspects about multimedia facade. Okay? Before I start my presentation, I would like to ask just a few questions to my colleagues here. And afterwards, we will be playing a video of the proposal for Kingdom Center Tower. Okay? So, for you, Florian, what are the advantages of having an in-house specialized team with regards to multimedia facade?
You mean the three of us with the experience of our projects, basically, or
Yes,
and the
definitely.
companies behind and the teams behind. But yeah, I mean, for the client, it's to have an experienced team, yeah, required with all the with all the expertises, yeah, that are required for those projects being covered. And even though we work in various professions, you are working in the LED business and media, technical media lighting equipment. Filippo is working in the engineering field, yeah, overseeing the installation, planning and designing the construction, and I'm working in the lighting design field and media content creation. But still, the client has the benefit of having one person, we act as one person of contact. Huh? We act as one a point of contact, not person of contact. And so this is the benefit for the client. And then the benefit for us is that we have an easy communication. We can solve problems quickly and simply. We know each other and the skills of each other, and then we can push our limits, yeah? Or the limits of the other one, or our own, yeah? And by that.
As always.
Very, very well said. It's like when you try to run a marathon, you want people to be running alongside of you, right? So
Exactly.
That you're
very
sure
well
they
said.
can run, at least.
That they can run. Yes, correct. Yeah. Question to you, Filippo. For you, what is multimedia facade? What is the or how does it differ between media or dynamic lighting?
Thank you for asking, Carlito. So, media facade is a lighting installation that communicate only with one medium. For example, we see plenty of city where you have lighting effects, changing colors. This is only one typology of way of communication, so of a medium. A multimedia facade is a completely different approach, is a completely different technological development. The communication toward the technology and from the technology is done in completely different way. It's a little bit like to have a multimedia facade is a little bit like installing a television on your building. And so once you have a multimedia facade, you can play pictures, you can play videos, you can play graphics. If you want, you can do live streaming. You can have music if the property allow it. So it's a proper full multi-medium range of content that you can play on it. So
Okay. All right.
this is the main difference.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Filippo. Now, in our next phase of this webinar, we'd like to play a video which shows the proposal comparison for the project that we did in Saudi. It's called Kingdom Center Tower. It's located in Riyadh. Can you please have the video played?
Yeah,
And can you please, Florian, please go ahead.
Yeah, I can say something about it. So the client approached basically Traxon, and Traxon then approached us, the team, to create a media screen. And they asked there specifically for a screen in the center. This is what you see right now, like a belly ribbon around the building, which is more or less a screen. And this is what we proposed. We proposed an architectural adjusted media facades, which includes the whole building, which implements the necklace lighting. The necklace is the upper part, yeah, this sculpture on the top. And we proposed a fully dynamic installation, which is a symbiosis of both, yeah, and can act both together, the media installation and the necklace lighting. So it becomes an architectural media sculpture.
Yeah, it was really nice to be able to convince the client later on to change their perspective from having a very small section of the tower lit into something much better, much more, which emphasizes the beauty of their architecture, their building.
Yeah.
Full architectural integration.
Yes.
And it becomes a sculpture itself. It's not just an add-on screen towards the building. It's the building. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. The communication is much more effective.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I will be starting with my presentation. Can we please have, yes, thank you very much. Okay. All right. Okay. So as we tried to introduce earlier, this is Kingdom Center Tower, which is located in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. It's a beautiful, beautiful building, which is, I think, more than 20 years old already. So as Deshaun mentioned earlier, one can wonder what, how can you actually make, or how does multimedia facade works, right? But I would add to that something else. What are the challenges when you try to implement such an upgrade from a legacy, from having a legacy building and then converting it into something like this, yeah, something that can show your the flag, something that can show um, let's say Ramadan messages, and also like for example on the picture on the right hand side, when I think that was probably arguably the biggest upset in World Cup history when Saudi won against
Or
Argentina.
celebration.
Yeah, it's an amazing, amazing event that, with the help of having a platform right now, of being able to display this almost instantaneously, because no one knew that they would win. Of course, it was, they were in a disadvantage, and suddenly they won. So probably, if a lot of people could relate to this, it's probably one of the best times or exceptional times wherein you're stuck in traffic, but you're still happy because you're seeing something so big and seeing everyone celebrating around you, right?
It's true.
Yeah. So that's the power, that's the beauty. But how do we? I mean, how did we do it? Yeah. So let's try to unpack what we have done for this project. Okay. Here we have a custom solution, which is what we call Allegro.ms diffuse RGBW. We have used around 47 or 46,000 dots on this building, 23,000 on the south facade, and then 23,000 on the north facade. And one of the main customizations required here was Filippo's design from iDEA&Associates. He needed to create a system that is invisible uh, during daytime. So it has to be very slim. We need to integrate these LED dots on this very slim profile. Hence, we had to customize our Allegro dot from being 60, 68 mm in diameter to only 50 mm in diameter. Okay. Requirement was also to have each dot to be with individual connectors so that in case a faulty dot needs to be replaced, it would be easy to maintain. Yeah? And we did that as well, first time. Most of our projects, we use this Allegro dot as a string format, wherein you have a series of dots connected physically on a flat cable, and then you have, let's say, 20, 30 pieces of them in one string. But in this case, we specifically made dots with individual connectors. And also here on this product, we have the start dots, which has built-in thermal sensors. Okay, so we're able to monitor what's the operating temperature of the dots while they're working. And these products have a very high operating temperature of up to 60 degrees Celsius, which is very, very important for our region in the Middle East, where we have very harsh, very high temperature, ambient temperature, wind, and which is like almost having sand blasted onto the facade. So it's a crazy environment. That's why we need to have reliable products. Here, this is the layout. This was made by one of our project managers, John Balange. This shows you the layout of this 23,000 dots on the south elevation. If you notice, this building is quite big. It's around 300 meters high. And one of the challenge with this kind of project, legacy projects, is you cannot disrupt the operation of the building. So you have to find ways to minimize the amount of, let's say, penetration points that you need to have on the building. Okay, here, even though it's 300 meters high, we're able to do the wiring of the dots by using only 3 levels. Okay, you have level 2, you have level 4, and then on the upper level on the necklace area, or what we call it necklace, it's actually the crown area, to have another penetration point. And if you look to the right side, this image on the right hand side, these are actually dots that are spaced at 400 mm, as little as 400 mm pixel pitch, or the spacing between the dots vertically, up to 4 meters at the lower level. Yeah. So even though they're dots, when you see it from afar, they look like lines of light, like linear fixtures, but they're actually dots. Okay. And then here, this is the software. This is Simple Light. Here you can see the contents created by Florian. This is the Saudi flag being played. The beauty of the system is when you create custom content specifically for this kind of a project, which Florian will try to explain a little bit further later on. It's so easy to just upload the file. And most of the time, since they don't use the tower, at least the media part, multimedia part, as often, they can simply just play them using manual triggers. Of course, you can program them to be able to play at a certain time and stop at a certain time. But in this case, it's easy if you just upload the content, and there's a play button here that you can see on the left-hand side, and that's it. Then it can be active, it can be displayed on the screen. Okay. All right. Now, I would like to talk more about the technological innovations that we also do in Traxon, because we specialize in customization and we try to improve what we currently have, even further. Yeah. And one of this development.
Oh, Carlito is gone.
Carlito. He will be back then very
Yeah,
soon.
that is a pity. Let's wait maybe a
I'm
bit.
sorry about that.
Ah,
I got
thanks.
disconnected for a while.
Are you hearing us, Carlito?
We're glad you're back.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Let me try to provide again the slides, my presentation.
You're
Maybe
always
Deshaun can use it.
present in our projects.
Okay. Deshaun, are you able to play? Uh, yeah. Can you try it again? Yes. Thank you very much. We're sorry about that. It's live, ladies and gentlemen. That's why we have these challenges sometimes, but we're happy to be back. As I was saying, we develop a new control protocol for video-based applications, just like what we have done in Kingdom Center, but even something better. Okay. In Kingdom Center, the starter cable length is only 60 meters long, yeah, which was good enough for the project. However, there will be projects wherein you need to have longer starter cables. So we develop a solution wherein we can have up to 120 meters of starter cable, and there is what we call power and data wiring redundancy. What it means is basically if you have 10 fixtures in the loop, if in case the fifth fixture fails for some reason, fixture number 4 will pass the signal and power directly to the sixth fixture, yeah, without interrupting the rest of the fixtures. So you will not see uh, a big line of light not working. It will be just that one maybe faulty fixture, yeah, or maybe loosely connected, or had a bracket, or no, I mean connector broken. Okay. And then we have another feature, which is fault monitoring. We're able to monitor the temperature as well as if the fixtures are working or not, the devices are all completely online. That's another feature that also we have implemented recently. And to make this fault monitoring much more efficient, we have added a dedicated control wire for bidirectional communication. Because most of the time, if you communicate just over the same control wire, for example, it becomes very slow. So we have devised a strategy of using another cable or another wire for that. Yeah. And then here we have, which is my last slide, Simplicity. Yeah. Here, this is, as you can see, these are beautiful cities that are controlled synchronously. We can manage in a city-wide scale functional lighting infrastructures as well as multimedia facades in one central platform, yeah, using Simpo City. Okay.
Yeah.
I won't be able to discuss more about this right now, but if you have any questions, please feel free to ask in the comment section. And thank you very much for that.
Carlito, Carlito, I have a question for you.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
It's happened on multiple projects that we develop custom technologies and for our buildings, and we always start from the materials because we know that the materials are extremely important in order to extend as much as possible the lifetime of the technology. Can you explain us what kind of test you do um, internally and externally, just to be sure that the technology is working perfectly?
Okay. Okay. Thank you for that question. Basically, aside from all the third-party accredited testing laboratory, accredited testing that we do, such as CE and CB and ETL approbations, which by standard we do. We actually internally as well, uh, we have what we call reliability tests. Yeah? I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but basically these are series of tests like hot operation test, power temperature cycle, thermal shock, thermal humidity storage test that allows us to ensure that before we even submit our products to this third party approbation labs, we ensure that we will pass such tests because CE, CB, they can be very stringent, especially for our Middle East market. Yeah, I hope that answers
Okay.
your question.
Of course. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. All right. I will hand over to you now, Filippo, for your presentation.
Thank you, Carlito.
Thank you.
Yes. My presentation will be in regards to technology integration on the building. When we have been approached in 2021 by Kingdom Holding to integrate a multimedia facade on their building, we had to study the building itself. Kingdom Center, Mamlaka Tower, is a modern architectural icon in Saudi Arabia and around the Middle East. So we immediately noticed that the concern of the client and of the consultant of the client were around the aesthetic integration. It was not more related to the technical, but the client were much more worried about how the building will look after an LED screen will be installed on the building. We started talking with the consultant of the client that was the original designer of the building. And with them, we have worked on different solution, different design. We studied the finishes of the facade. We design different proposal in order to implement the LED screen in a way that was not visible during the day. Another challenge that we had was from a technical point of view. A technical point of view, we have a curtain wall. The building has been designed 21 years ago, and the building still looks very modern and very fresh. And this is thanks also to a very specific facade that is called a seamless facade that the building has installed. So we had to find a way to fix our system without compromising the performance of the facade itself. So as we usually say to our clients, when we receive the building from them, we treat the building not as a platform to install our multimedia facade or our LED screen, but we consider the building as a financial asset for our clients. So we do everything possible to increase the value of the building with a very successful multimedia facade. thanks to revenue generation, thanks to marketing opportunities, thanks to social media, the value of the client, the value of the building can rise from 100% to 110, 120%. Depends a lot on how it use the building. But at the end of the life cycle of the technology, when we remove the multimedia facade, the building should go back to 100% value without affecting environmental performance of the facade, without affecting or damaging the building internally and externally. So for us, it's extremely important to approach a building, especially if it is iconic, in a way of respect. And for Kingdom Center, it was this concern was elevated, and we really put the building at the center of our project. Another aspect that Carlito also talked before was about the operation. Kingdom Center is a multi-purpose building. We have offices of very important international companies. We have a mall that operates from morning till night. We have an hotel, the Four Seasons, 5-star hotel. We have royal offices, Prince Al Walid bin Talal Al Saud, and protocol, royal protocol. So we had to understand the operation of the building during the day and during the night, and find a solution to install our multimedia facade in a way that these operations were not disrupted. Those aspects are towards the building. Then an effective technology integration also face the problem related to technology integration as well. A custom system should protect the technology, for example. We work together with Traxon to develop our systems. We ask them what is needed for the technology to survive at the weather for the longest time as possible. We design a system to reduce the human error, for example, during the installation. We design our system to reduce at the minimum the time for maintenance. We design our system for reduce the overheating of the technology during the day, in order the system can dissipate the temperature. We try at the best to reduce the stress on the technology in order to reduce the failure rate at the minimum as possible, and to increase the lifetime of the products. Another aspect, which is the last one, but is not the least important, is about maintenance. We, of course, when we install this typology of LED screen on our client's building, maintenance is extremely important. A multimedia facade to be valuable has to work 100%, always 100% of its capacity. It should not have any line out or any pixel out. It will be visible. So we need to be able to maintain, to install and dismantle the facade in the fastest time as possible, but also to maintain it in order to reducing at the maximum the time of servicing the technology. We are also saving money to our clients, running the multimedia facade for 5, 6, 7, 10, 15 years. So this is how we approach the project. I can show some pictures of Kingdom before the installation, as you can see on the left. On the right is the installation phase of the multimedia facade from few meter distance from the building. This picture was taken just below the building. You can see it's not visible that on the facade there is an LED screen, but at night the difference is clearly visible. So our objective approaching Kingdom Center multimedia facade was how to reinvent a building at night that is already an icon during the day. And yeah, this is the result. Thank you.
Florian, would you like to? I think you're muted.
Can I turn it on myself? Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thanks for letting me know. I mean, Filippo, you talk about the value a lot during, or also you mentioned maintenance, which is over a lifetime of 15 up to 15 years. You mentioned can be a lot over the course of the time, even if you try to reduce it. And you talk about the value of a building during the installation, how you try to avoid doing unnecessary penetrations and keeping everything removable as easy as possible. But
yeah, reverse.
There's always a possibility of failure somehow. Even, I don't know, space shuttles explode from time to time. So, but
it's normal routine. It's normal routine.
But how can the commercial value of a brand or of the building being diminished by having a non-operating or fully functioning facade to the building?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. A multimedia facade to be valuable, it has to work 100%. When a multimedia facade is working 100%, you have commercial value because you can rent the screen to run advertisement, for example, or you can organize marketing campaigns for your own brand or for your own building. But if the multimedia facade, for example, has a low quality technology installed and you have a failure rate that is very high and you need to keep maintaining, you have an extremely high cost in maintenance and over the run over the lifetime of the facade. But you're also reducing the value of the campaign that you can run in your building. So you're attracting less interesting brands by having a multimedia facade that is not working 100%, and they will pay the space less because it's not working perfectly, while having a super reliable technology with a easy to maintain system, it will attract more advertisement outlet, and your building will be successful. Multimedia facade is an opportunity for our clients to generate money. It's one of the I believe few forms of lighting that allow our clients to generate income for their buildings. So it's a very interesting proposition.
I mean, usually in lighting, it's anyway. It's often, if there is a mistake, it's obvious and people will recognize it easily. If it's perfect, you might not even recognize that there is any light. So, but in our case, of course, it's very recognizable, but the mistakes are even more recognizable if there's a little dot or some chains are not working.
Absolutely. And a media facade, you will not rent it out. So there is not commercial interest of paying for a changing color lighting, while there is a lot of interest around social media, for example, through advertisement on buildings.
All right, if I may add, guys, sorry, Florian. If I may add also, I think one of the things that we also should highlight here is if the technology is not well integrated on the building. Imagine you're a big hotel chain, yeah, a very famous hotel chain, let's say Hilton or W Hotel, for example, or any other hotels, yeah. And then you have a facade wherein you have some wires hanging out, something is hitting the glass, which is quite annoying. You know, these things can really disrupt, you know, the kind of level of that high level or quality of, the brand is actually diminished because of that, those issues.
think about security. When you install a multimedia facade on any building or any structure, it has to stay there for 10, 15 years, you know. Then this is the first most important thing. Then you need to be able to service quickly, install it quickly, remove it quickly if it is needed. Don't affect the facade, don't affect the environmental performances. There are a lot of aspects, but service is extremely important. Absolutely.
I mean, I don't know if we should interweave it. I think questions will come after our presentations, and I will also give one more. Huh?
Yes,
but I just saw that there's an interesting question, actually.
Yes,
we don't have all of them here, but we will get them later, I believe. From the inside of the building, I guess, does the light impact the outdoor visibility of the occupants?
Not at all. Not at all. If I can reply, Florian, sorry.
It's part of the value of the building and the user, and you brought up the hotel chain and all this stuff, yeah. But there's a hotel. I think it's a very valid question to the topic. That's why I wanted to.
It's very interesting. And iDEA&Associates developed a system that we call invisible system. And the visible system, it's installed on the facade, on the mullions of the facade, and it's not visible from inside the building to outside, and from outside the building to inside during the day, but also during the night. For example, now on Kingdom Center, when you are inside your hotel room in Four Seasons, and you are a guest, and you are not interested to have anything showing outside your window, you don't see it. You don't see it at all. You're not distracted by lights bouncing into the room or anything like that. You will not notice that the multimedia facade will be on. But then when you go outside the building and you turn towards the facade, you say, okay, there is a massive television that is showing with an audience of the entire city of Riyadh something. Yeah. It's a fantastic tool of communication.
Please, to our viewers right now, the ones who joined us, please feel free to ask questions. At the end of this presentation, we will also try to answer as much of these questions that you have.
And then I believe I will go on with my presentation. Yeah.
Yes. Go ahead, Florian.
Tisha, if you can bring it up, please. Voila. So I will talk a bit about the lighting design and the visual design part on this project. But I will structure it in two parts: the general methodology of visual design or lighting design for such a media installation and or visual content design. And then I give some very brief overview about the technical design development on Kingdom Center. So when we start to look at the project, it's important to consider that a media installation and a multimedia facade is a very versatile installation. You can change completely the look and the appearance of a building. And you can also make a building in this case, for instance, Saudi Arabia or in Dubai, play the same content as in Hong Kong, so they almost look the same in the nighttime. But with an architectural intention and a design intention, it's important to consider the identity of a place. And in that case, the Kingdom Center was very important because it's an iconic building for the city, for the country. And the identity must remain. So we do this as I said, with a typical architectural approach. We look into the location and culture. What is the cultural identity? What are certain values that we have to consider and respect? Then, as a next hierarchy, the direct environment, cityscape. What is the surrounding of the building? Are there any local regulations we have to consider? And from where do you see the building, the spatial composition? Yeah? In that case, it's a very outstanding, singular skyscraper in the center of the town. or of not of the town, of the city. and and then, of course, the building itself. What are the building functions and the geometry? I explained in the first comparison video that we kind of insisted, almost, to apply it to the geometry of the building and to make use of the necklace, to make use of both systems, the direct lighting of the LED towards the outside, and then the illumination of the necklace itself, as well as using the shape of the necklace. All with the purpose that the media facade becomes already by the technical installation a material towards the building, not just an add-on, it becomes part of the building. And then as a next step during the planning or the designing process, we look into more technical details, also in different levels, construction, integration, and utilization. For the installation structure, what is the possible resolution we can use? What is the pixel pitch that can be created? In our case, it was limited by the horizontal pixel pitch because we knew that we need to utilize the facade mullions for the installation. But we had basically all the chances and options to design the vertical resolution ourselves, and we adjusted to the ideal level for recognition by the observer and for the common distance and the possible distances for the viewer. So it's also not unnecessarily big, the resolution, because why would you need to do this? It just increases the possibility of mistakes, failure, complexity. And then as a next step, again, the integration. Filippo already talked about the topic, how we implement it with the building geometry. What is the pixel arrangement? For instance, we shortly saw that, and Carlito explained it, that the resolution becomes less and less towards the bottom of the building because it's an aesthetic reason, that the screen doesn't start somewhere. It slowly and smoothly introduces itself towards the top. And of course, the utilization. So how is it being used? What's the viewing distance? What's the perception of the building? And also very interesting with this project, how is it activated? So, for instance, the media screen is mostly activated for so far for special events, and then even when it's activated, it's not constantly going on and displaying contents throughout the night, but it shows to be an event itself. And considering these, we then start to think about, we think about the effect and the visual possibilities of the media facade actually from the beginning. But after knowing the cultural background, the local background, having the spatial boundaries collected, let's say, and also designing the installation design summed up and found an ideal approach, we then go again over our ideas for certain content creation and try to find the right balance for the ideal visual perception. It often depends on what you want to display. Is it a everyday content or everyday visuals that kind of work as a screensaver and come up more often, or is it a campaign and we can adjust the level of the abstraction and the content detail according to its use, but like being a campaign or being a screensaver, but also towards the project itself, viewing distance, time of use. Do you see it? Is it an event and many people see it at one time, or is it like a side of Kingdom Center, or is it next to a highway and people just drive by and see it for the glimpse of a few seconds. That is very important to create a good approach for storytelling and for making it recognizable and also a memory, in best case. So, you guys have any questions?
I actually do have a lot of questions from the audience, but I do have one question, maybe a quick question to you, because most of the time, I noticed that you, of course, you create custom contents, but why do we need to provide custom video contents for our projects? What's the difference between, content from the library and adjusted contents?
I mean, the aim is always to squeeze the most out of it. No, the presentation was not done. I just started in between because Filippo was saying nice or something. But let's squeeze this. Let's put this question in between. I mean, we do create custom contents because you want to get the highest performance out of an installation and the highest quality of the installation. So we put all this effort in designing this facade, and of course by then we also know and test a lot and know about what can be played best. So let's say we design a piano. We can also know how to play it best or what we want to hear on it. We can hand it over to others and listen to other nice compositions and beautiful arrangements, if we stay with the piano example. But in our case, we create strategies and designs to get the most out of it, out of the resolution, out of the perception, and by all the experience with projects we have. It's different to design content for an iPhone, let's say, for a small screen or for such a big building. And we have just a portion of the resolution of an iPhone, but my phone is, 12 centimeters or so, and the tower is 300 meters. That's the difference. That's why, and you need to know how to play that piano somehow, or what works best for everyone. But I can talk for hours on that question, to be honest. Summarized, it's the uniqueness. We want to create something unique. You can put every content on the facade, but we want to create something unique that is supporting the place and the location, and works together with the architecture to have something stunning for the people. Same. So, but going back to the presentation, if I may, I said it's a two-part. First, the methodology on the approach, and then the second part is giving some hints or some ideas what we did during the design phase. For the necklace, there was already a necklace lighting existing, but it only could. It basically washed everything. The whole surface with light, and you could only control a very poor range of color variation and a little amount of transition from bottom and top. What we looked for was a completely controllable, dynamically controllable necklace lighting that acts together with the media facade and has a chance to use similar dynamics. If something's going up, you can have the light go up, like a point almost go up. What we see here are some examples. With this one, for instance, was one of the first examples to study overshooting of light, to reduce the light spill. And we see these segments with in red and green color. I don't know if everyone can see my mouse, but I hope so. And this is, you don't think so?
We don't think.
We can clarify that later. But the given resolution here, that's actually like pixels. The actual resolution on the building is half of that. So this red square is actually, or rectangle is actually 2 pixels together. So we can play and control the whole necklace very individually in every part and segment. We had a tough time bringing in our fixtures in those locations and finding the right amount of fixtures and the right lenses. But we succeeded on that, especially during the installation. It was tricky because we had to keep a precision of 0.2 degree in every angle, like X, Y, and Z angle in each lamp for the orientation, with the aim to create a completely uniform illuminance or lighting appearance.
And
If you
Florian,
just
with extreme angles as well, which was extremely complex.
yeah, exactly. Maybe it's very small in the
multiple axes.
presentation, but a multiple axes, one custom designed bracket by Filippo, and yeah, that was a challenge. But we love challenges, so we took it. And
Yeah.
and yeah, no, of course, we did light calculations to study our setup previously. So we did that a couple of times to find the best approach for the lighting, and then for
Florian,
yes, sure,
can I just add something before you move
absolutely,
on to the next slide? To put things in perspective, I didn't mention it, but basically on this part of the tower, we have a different kind of product. It's called the Vista Plus. It's a floodlight with very narrow beam, which allows us to create this segmentation. So there's a slight separation between the multimedia facade as well as this dynamic, let's say, necklace lighting. Just wanted to put that.
Still operated from the same server of the
Yes.
multimedia facade.
yeah, and then operated from the same server and controlled by the same layout. So we created a layout where everything can controlled via animation or color changes, or you put non-custom content on it and control both together, the necklace and the LEDs of the media facade. So for the LEDs, for instance, we took the curvature of the building into consideration to remove the amount of stretching and try to find the best stretched media facade so it looks the media content appears in the best quality from all angles. Then we implemented, of course, this necklace. So you see what you animated on this part, you see it as a preview on this one part. Everything is pixel precise, and you can use it for the media server immediately. So you can have your design, you can have the presentation to the client, and you can have it run on the building with all in one go. And this is an example of what it looks like. And I believe Dishan can be so kind and present another video where we see some early designs we made, also presented in an animation. So this is like a typical everyday content. Yeah, we designed to study the building, to look into movements, motions, how to emphasize the structure, how to emphasize the architecture. And then there are events like Ramadan and Eid, where certain campaigns are designed and specifically for those events. And yeah, thank you, everyone. From now, I will hand over again to Carlito.
Thank you very much, Florian, for that presentation. Can we please play the Kingdom Center National Day video to show what, after all these efforts have been done, designing an invisible system, figuring out, there was a question about power that is needed for this kind of installation, which I'll be addressing later on. Let's see how it looks. Yeah, very good question from Mr. JC Calabro. So Filippo, can you tell us more about this day, the first day?
This is when we launched the screen. It was a National Day last year. It was astonishing to see the reaction of the city. We have traffic jams, people stopping in the middle of the city. We had social media that were absolutely booming. about the multimedia facade. It was incredible. The reaction is of the city was fantastic. It's the same we had for the soccer when Kingdom when Saudi Arabia won.
Yeah, yeah.
The reaction was fantastic. Yeah, it changed so much the landscape of the city. Riyadh is especially where in Olaya where Kingdom is located, is a low-rise building area. And is in the middle between the old Riyadh and the new Riyadh. And the new development are coming just next door to Kingdom. So it will always be at the center of the city. And seeing this building lit like this in the middle of this low-rise building, it was unbelievable. Just stunning.
I remember
the same effect is for you.
Yeah, no, I mean, we were also amazed. Huh? I remember that. I mean, we didn't have the chance to test the facade, the content, and the facades beforehand. So it was, I mean, due to the importance of the building, we wanted to keep the impact and the as little as possible and the surprise as big as possible. So we saw all these things also the first time, and we're super happy that everything worked out. So there was, I mean, a few like 10, 5-second tests, like a couple of nights before, but how many was it? Like five times for 5 seconds or something like this?
Yes.
Which was not enough to to see a lot. Yeah? And then it was a surprise and quite very impressive that everything worked without. I mean, it was not a fully surprise, but we were hoping that everything worked out, and to prove our quality, and it worked out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. I think we need to. We have a little. I don't know if we have only 2 minutes left, but can we address some of the questions here?
I have a couple of questions I would like to reply.
Okay, okay. Should we go through one by one, or should we cherry pick now? We do have a lot of questions from Mr. JC. Maybe let me start with this, because some are technical questions that I can answer right now. I'll start with Mr. JC Calabro. Deshaun, can you highlight this question, please? I would like to know what is the power needed to make this installation work. Basically, the LED dot has a power consumption of around 2 watts at maximum, which gives us around, we have 46,000 dots, roughly 110 kilowatts were used on the overall project. And in this building, they have substantial power reserve to enable this upgrade of the facade. Okay. The next question, I hope that answers your question. The next question is from Adolfo Reyes. How do you justify the investment cost for such massive
Can I reply? Can I reply to that one, Carlito? Yeah, it's an interesting question, but the multimedia facade, as we said before, is an opportunity for revenue generation. So, okay, you have an investment upfront for the installation of a multimedia facade of this scale and of this kind. But when you can generate money or revenue from advertisement, from social media, from marketing budgets, the actual installation become profitable. There is another question from that I read through. What is the return of investment? The return of investment depends a lot on which kind of building you have, where is the location, how big it is, who are the people that are, what is the appeal for brands to be on your building. But there are buildings that have a return of investment of 8 months, 1 year, 1 year and a half. Then the remaining 5 years or 10 years, for whatever as long you want to run it. It's all revenue.
Okay. Thank you, Filippo. Another question from Mr. Murat Tanriverdi. In this project, did you have any gamma correction problem? On this project, we use the Allegro dot, which are all gamma corrected from the factory. So when they were all shipped, even on the first time that we test the dots, we didn't have enough time, as Florian was trying to explain earlier. the secrecy of the of the unveiling of the project was so high that we had very limited time, and we cannot, do color calibration, gamma correction while we are installing and then, testing and commissioning the lights. Yeah. So yes, that has been taken care of from the factory. Yeah. Thank you for
There
that
are
question.
there are a few about lights. I just read one.
Yes.
How do you deal with light pollution or disturbance to the neighboring buildings? And then there was another one similar. I was sorry
Adolfo.
from who was this question? From Nikhil Divakar, if I pronounce it correctly, I'm sorry. And then there was Adolfo Reyes. Everybody know
Yeah.
now is all about dark sky compliance.
Mhm.
What are the next steps for multimedia facade lighting in this regard? Can I quickly? You also want to say
Sure,
something?
sure. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
I mean,
Yeah.
from
After you, I will add something
okay.
on that as well.
I mean, for the activation is very is done very careful of the media facade. So it's only on special events which usually then are celebrated so far, at least on a Friday or Saturday evening, when the city is anyway bursting from people and everything is going on. And then even then, it's often content sequences of 2 minutes, maybe 3 minutes, and then it's off for half an hour. So it's not constantly going on. For the content design itself, I mean, of course, we are aware of this topic a lot. For the content design itself, we try to avoid white backgrounds, for instance, to not create a lantern. We use the whole facade as a playground, but you don't have to activate the whole playground at the same time. And the LEDs are pretty powerful, so they never run on 100%. We always dim them down to the current weather condition, like if there's haze or sand in the air, and try to find the best balance on that to keep it visible, but keep also the light pollution as little as possible. So, Filippo.
If I can add something on that, it is very interesting. Just on the lighting emission, usually multimedia facade is targeted for cameras for social media. So we are running our screen at an average of 30% of the total luminous output. Then we were involved in a project in Europe, and we did a lot of studies about lighting pollution. What is the implication of having a multimedia facade on people behavior, on pupils opening, on skin melatonin production. We did a lot of studies, and we came to a conclusion that a multimedia facade, because it's a control lighting, okay, you need to have a complete black backdrop, so the entire building should have the lights off. The actual light consumption of a building with a multimedia facade is far less than a normal building with random lights left on into the building. So, and then, as Florian said, it is control timing. So we operate the multimedia facade usually from dusk to midnight. So it's a very limited, super dimmed content. So pollution is our topic and is under control.
And there was one question towards the neighborhood, basically, which is very beneficial in Riyadh, is other than in Europe or in other parts of the world. Due to the heat during the day, there are very little window openings. So there is low level, like 2-floor, 3-floor private houses around it, around the, or residential buildings even, around the tower. The tower is really sticking out within the city. But the impact towards the people inside the building, towards people sleeping, is very little, because windows sizes and opening dimensions are very different from from the ones, for instance, in Germany or in Central Europe. So that's also an important fact just to, even if we turn it on like for 3 minutes, it might kill your sleep. Yeah? But the conditions are very different. Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Another question from Mr. Sardeep Basur, which what is the spacing of the pixels horizontally? Yes, thank you for that question, Mr. Sardeep. There's horizontal spacing, if I remember correctly, is around 1.3 meter horizontally.
It's varying.
It depends a lot. On this project, yes,
On this
correct.
project, yeah, on this project, I
Yeah,
had
on a
1.345, right? Yeah, mm.
on a multimedia facade, it is related to the window width.
Yes. Okay. I think we have, okay. Mr. Martin Lupton has asked, who is taking the ongoing responsibility for developing the content on the facade? Florian? Or who can answer this?
The client can answer this. They have control. I mean, what we did is, and what we do is we support them as good as possible. We created initial content. We designed and created and produced following up campaigns. But we also handed out, no, on this one project we did not yet, but we usually hand out guidelines and templates that everyone, I mean, we gave an introduction to it, but we hand out guidelines and booklets that external designers, third parties, or the client itself can design contents for the installation.
If I can add something on this one, the security is also very important. So when you have a multimedia facade installed in your building, you don't want that anyone is hijacking the screen. So security is extremely important. Content must be approved by the client. In some countries, the content must be approved by the government as well. So it's a super secured system. Maybe Carlito, you can develop a little bit how we dedicate and secure our LED screen. It's interesting.
Yeah, thank you, Filippo. Usually, yes, we have a dedicated network. A lot of clients don't want their system to even be connected to the internet to ensure that there's no hacking. And if you want to play something in the system, you need to be on site. You need to have access to the system. So it's very secured. Of course, the system can be controlled remotely if we really want to. Like in China, for example, if I go back to the Simple City approach, wherein multiple buildings are controlled synchronously, there is no way for you to have a private network to implement a citywide application. Yeah, but how they do it in China, particularly, is they have developed a special 5G wireless network. I mean, through the cellular communication through their network provider, and that's quite secured because that's a government initiative. It's owned or initiated by the city itself. So there's a high level of security implemented on that. Huawei is actually usually used on this kind of things, and they're quite secured. Yeah. Okay. I think.
How
Is there any other question?
I just saw one. How long did we take? How long was it from JC Calabro? How long was
Mr.
it
JC
to
has a
make this
question.
project happen from design to final installation?
We have been approached in March, and we developed it. Okay, it was during COVID first.
Yeah.
It
Remember,
was
you were
a
stuck in
quite
Bahrain, Filippo.
yeah for more than 1 month. Yes, I remember, Carlito. Thank you for remembering.
To be able to do the mock-up during COVID, right? It was the
Yeah,
time where it's
yeah, but
very
it was.
restricted. Yeah.
We had regulation changes in the country to allow a multimedia facade on a building. So the law, we had to wait for the law to change. And it took from March to September of the year after. So
Which year?
it took it was 2021, and we delivered March 2021, delivered in September 2022.
The request of the client came to us by December 20, That was the video we showed in the very beginning. And then
Yes.
we followed up.
Yeah, it was the first approach. Then when we really engaged with the client and we started the project was in March.
And then finalization of the media facade was September last year.
So 2 years.
And
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah, 1 year and a half. It was during COVID. To implement a multimedia facade right now in Saudi or in Dubai will take from the record that we did. It was 7 months. The fastest we install and the design and install 7 months to maximum 1 year. Depends on the scale.
Good. Thank you. I think we have the last question from Elias Barbour. Elias, how are you? I believe EPIC's not DMX5 is used in this project. Is that correct? You're quite familiar with EQ, and thank you for that. You've been using EQ for a while. However, in this project, we have developed a different setup. The pixel distributor talks directly to the server through the network switch. There is no in-between Butler Pro node that sends the signal to this pixel distributor. It's a direct. Some people would say this is like video-based, but it's a different way of connecting the lights to the servers. Okay. All right. I think Dishan,
you're still
you're
there.
back. Yes.
Great. Thank you guys for the lovely webinar session. I think it was very insightful. Hope our audience, you guys, we tried to answer all of your questions. And as we conclude this webinar, I'd like to extend a heartfelt gratitude to our speakers, Carlito, Florian, and Filippo, and for all of you guys for joining us today. The world of multimedia facades is vast and dynamic, and our journey of discovery has only just begun. So you can always feel free to reach out to either of our speakers in case you have further questions. And stay tuned for more webinars on such captivating topics in the near future. So wishing you all a great day ahead, and see you all for the next one.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. It's been a pleasure. Take care. And everyone, thank you for participating. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.